This conference will now be recorded.
So set properties. What is the use of set properties? Set property shape. Set property shape. Yes. What is the use of set property shape?
To set
Why
that
we are using?
proper
It's
name
used to
to
store the
file.
values and numbers.
Yes, to store the values and the keys. Right.
Numbers,
Values and keys. They can be used for it as a reference.
the reference,
Keys. Yes,
integration.
for the values and keys, and then we can use. They can be used as a reference, right? A reference later stages.
Okay.
Yes, later stages, and here we can, if you want, we can override the file name, right? File name and directories, right? To address, from address, all these can be overridden, right? So if you want to write override and all these things. So how many types of properties available in a Boomi?
5 properties.
What are they?
Document property, dynamic
Hmm.
document property, process
Process
property,
property, process
dynamic process
dynamic
property,
property, MIME
the
property.
MIME property.
Very good. So dynamic document property, yeah, and the third one is,
Process property,
yes,
Process property.
process
property,
property,
dynamic process property,
and the fourth one is dynamic
process property,
property, and the
M,
final one is,
M, MIME.
MIME.
very good. So MIME property. Okay, fine. So we discussed about document property, right? So what is the use of document property?
To spread the values, to override
Is a
the file
document
names
level
and the
property where we
directories.
can override the file name.
To override
Yeah.
the directory.
Very good. So it is a document level property. In the connector level, see, even it is a document level property. In the connector level, we can override the directories, file names, and if you want to assign any to address, from address, and subject to the mail connectors. In a connector level, we can do multiple actions. Okay, by using document property, and moreover, an important, very very important note. Okay, again I will repeat in a later stages, but no, keep it in mind, the document property, okay, the document property will give the error messages. Okay, so here see, error messages. So let me open the Boomi platform. So how we can handle the errors in Boomi, how we are going to handle the errors?
By using try catch.
Catch.
Okay, by using try catch a shape, right? So
Catch.
if you
Yes.
are using the try catch a shape, but is it giving any exact reason behind that error?
No.
Yes, no, right?
No.
But how we can find out those error messages? See, let me open, just give me a second. So for example, if we are using a try catch a shape, in the try path, if you are getting any error, then the control will comes to the catch path, but you are not getting any reason behind that error or any error messages and all. Okay, but you want to know here, for example, let me open it. This is a process which we are developing, right? So in that, we are using try catch a shape, right? All these things. Okay, we are using here try catch a shape to handle the errors. Okay, but whatever the process is running in the try path, it will run executes as it is. If we are facing any issues, if we are getting any errors in a try path, then the control will comes to the catch path, but the catch path is not giving you exact reason behind that error. So now if you want to debug the issues, or if you want to troubleshoot those issues, you need reason behind that, right? If you don't have a reason, proper reason, or if you don't know that reason, then how we will handle those errors, right? So for that, the document property is going to give our reason behind that errors. Okay, so those things we will discuss. Okay, how we can handle those errors, how we can capture those errors, everything we will discuss. Okay, just give me a second. Let me arrange in a proper manner, right? So basically the document property can be used to do, right, multiple, if you want to override the file names, if you want to assign the directories, or if you want to give the to address or from address to the mail connector level. So all these things can be done with the help of document property. Let's say I have a one connection. Okay, I have a one connection. Now I want to send the data to multiple directories. Okay, how can I do that one? I have a disk connection. Okay, I have a one single disk connection, but I want to send multiple. I want to send multiple multiple directories. What are the data which I am getting from the source? I want to send it into multiple directories. How can I do that one?
Using branch shape we
Using
can
branch,
Hmm. Okay, we can use branch shape. That's fine.
branch.
Property.
And what else? We can create a branch. Okay, we can create a branch, but here I'm using set properties, right? I'm using set properties to override the directories, to assign the directories, right? So whenever, if you remember, let's say this is my disk connection, right? Here I have a write disk. So here I'm not assigning any directory. Here if you see, this is directory is an empty. Okay, but I want to send the data to this directory. How can we send? So before that, I'm assigning a one directory. If you open this, okay, if you open the set property, here we have a doc. So how can I assign? If I click on plus button, you can see we have, as I mentioned, we have five types of properties: document property, dynamic document property, dynamic process property, MIME property, and a process property. These are all the five properties available in a Boomi. So the document property can be used in a connector level to assign the file names and directories and all. Okay, for example, I am using directory disk connection. Here I want to assign the file name and directory. We can do, for example, let's say I'm using S3 bucket. Okay, S3 bucket. So for this I can assign file key, folder, and file name. These are all. Let's say I'm using some HTML connectors. So I can assign the body, file name, subject, from address, true address. All these things can be assigned, right? So this is how we can assign the values. Okay, so anyone have any questions or any doubts still here? Yes, anyone have any questions or any doubts? Anyone wants to ask any questions before I move forward? Anyone not understood about document property? Simple, guys. So whenever if you have file connector level properties, like as to assign the file names, directories, or to address or from address, we can go with a document property. And one more thing is, we can assign, like we can get a complete error messages. Okay, we will get the error messages from the document property. How we are going to get those document properties, I will show you. Okay, just now, no, just give me, yeah, message shape. Okay, just I'm giving a small example. Later again I will discuss in depth. Okay, don't worry. So go to document property. Here we can see, here we have a document property, and choose. Here again document property. Here we have a see metadata. We have a metadata. Click on metadata. Document property. Under document property we have a metadata. In the metadata you can see the details: application status code, application status message, business rule, error message. Do you see here try catch a message? Try catch a message. If I click on this, say okay. Now this document property base and a try catch a message will give you the reason behind that error. For example, in a try path, if you are getting any errors, so that the exact reason behind that error will give by this document property. Okay, so how we can assign this and how we can design the error handling mechanism. Okay, this error handling mechanism very very important. I will explain you in in depth later stages, but understand the document property will give you the exact reason behind that errors. Okay, so now save. So now, okay, then we will discuss about document dynamic document property. So the about document property, is it clear? About document property, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah, very
yes.
good. Now we'll discuss about dynamic document property. We will call it as a DDP. Okay, DDP, very very important. Guys, please focus. If you are not understand, please raise your hand and ask me the questions. If you are not understanding, then okay, I am ready to give you proper examples and a proper explanation. If you are not understanding 100 times also, but this concept is very 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 important, believe me. Okay, if you are attending any interviews, out of 5 interviews, five interviewer will ask these questions. Okay, about properties. Out of 5, the 5 interviewers will ask the questions about these properties, set properties. Okay, if you are not only perspective of interview, in perspective of real time also. Okay, whenever you are working with any project, these properties will play very very crucial role. Okay, if you are not understanding, if you are not following, please raise your hand, ask. Okay, okay, so now, so dynamic document property, we will call it as a DDP also. Okay, now first I will give you the definition, then I will explain you. Okay, first I will give you the definition. DDP is a document level property, is a document level property, document level property. So where we can assign, which can be used to store, which can be to store the, okay, document, each and every document. We can store the each and every document which are coming from the source. Okay, so now, which are coming from the source, and so the document property values, DP values can be, okay, values can be retrieved only. Please note it down. Okay, I'm no slowly I'm repeating, please understand. Okay, DDP values can be retrieved only in a particular branch or path. Okay, if it is storing, if it is stored before the branch, we can retrieve across the across the across all the branches. Okay, all the branches. If it is stored after the branch, stored after the branch, we cannot retrieve all the branches. Okay, branches. So let's say let's say for example, I will now understand. So dynamic document properties name itself, it is saying dynamically the values are going to be changed. Okay, for example, in your from the source, if you are getting id values 1001, okay, 1002, 1003, likewise if you are getting any ids. Now if you want to store any okay, now you want to store the ids and later you want to retrieve them. Okay, then we can use a dynamic document property. As I mentioned, it is a document level property. And one more important note, until the document id is not changing, the ddp can be retrieved. Okay, so what exactly I'm trying to explain, you now understand. So for example, let's say in your process, if you are getting the id values, now if you want to store dynamically the document properties, we can use dynamic document property. We can store each and every document value. For example, from the source, if you are getting 10 documents, okay, 10 documents, now you want to store any name field or any id field or any location field. Now if you are using dynamic document property, we can store each and every document value. Later if you want to retrieve them, we can retrieve only in a particular branch. But let's say for example, here if you are storing, okay, let me take a set. Okay, as I mentioned, it is a document level property. Until and unless the document is not changing, we can retrieve that value anywhere in the process. But if the document id is changing, then we cannot retrieve that id or that value. So for example, let's say this is my set property. I'm using before the branch to store the value. We can retrieve that value anywhere in the branch. We can retrieve that values in a branch 1, branch 2, branch 3. Okay, first I will assign the dynamic document property values. Later I will show you how we can retrieve, where we can use, how we can use. Okay, so first let me set the value. Okay, which one we are using? Dynamic document property. Let's say and one more important note. Okay, one more important note, the properties are case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive? See, for example, here if you are using dynamic ddp, okay, and one more thing, whenever if you are setting the values, give proper naming convention. If you are setting dynamic document property, give ddp. If you are setting dynamic process property, give dpp. Okay, by seeing this name is very very important. So now I want to set employee id. Okay, I'm giving this. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, now say okay. So now I want to set employee id. Okay, the employee id is a dynamic value. It is not no, not a static, which means it's not a static. Dynamically the id is going to be changed. Okay, every time the new id is coming, right? So which means dynamically the ids are changing. Now I am setting the parameter. So now from where it is coming, what is my parameter value, which parameter I need to take? So now here, now focus here. So the value is coming from profile, right? The id values, whatever the employee ids are coming, they are coming from profile or not? Are you following?
Yes, yes.
Guys, give me some response, whether you are following or not, understanding or not. Again I'm telling, this is very very important concept. If you are not understanding, please raise your hand and ask me the questions, or please stop me then and there only, ask the whatever you are not getting. Okay, so now here the parameter value. So we set the property here. The property is a dynamic document property, which is a document level property. Now we need to assign a value for this property. How we can assign the value? Here we have a property value. You can click on that and here you can go and you can assign that value, right? So here Now tell me what is the input to this set property. What is the input to this set property? So now you want to set the employee ID. From where this employee ID is coming? From where this the employee ID is coming? From the profile. We pulled the data from the disk in a profile format.
Disconnection.
From the disk we are pulling the data in the profile format. XML format we are pulling. The data is coming in the profile format. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
yes, yes. Yes, bro.
Now click on that here. Now tell me. So here we have a connector call, cross reference table,
Profile
parent
element.
data, everything is there. So which parameter I need to select? So you need to select the
Profile element.
profile element. You can see here we have a profile element because the
Profile.
data, the ID is coming from the profile. So now you can select the profile element. Guys, again and I'm telling, whenever you are setting some properties, if you are assigning any values, not only in a set property shape or any other shapes, you need to choose a proper parameter. Okay, you need to choose the proper parameter depending on your condition. Okay, so now the property is a profile element, and which type of profile we are getting? What type of profile we are
XML.
getting? It's an XML, right? And the profile already we created, right? That is a XML. Will go to our, this is a profile which we created. And now tell me, so now tell me which ID or which element I need to consider as a key element. Now I
Em-
want to
Employee.
Employee.
Employee. Employee.
employee ID. Very good. So now we are trying to store the employee IDs, right? Now we are trying to store the employee IDs. So that's why I'm using a employee ID. So let's say okay. So now you can see here dynamic document property DDP employee ID, right? We stored one, we set the one value. For that we are assigning one value. For this property we are assigning that value. So say okay. Now save. Now test it. Okay, don't worry, again I will explain you. Okay, now just understand it. So as I mentioned, it is a document level property. We can store each and every document ID value. Okay, each and document value, what are the, for example, if you are storing ID, we can retrieve each and every ID value which are coming from the source. If you are storing a name field, we can retrieve or we can store each and every name value which are coming from the source. Let's say now directly jump into the set property shape. Okay, click on the set property shape. Now check the logs. Now you understand here. Now focus here. So what we are trying to store here? We are trying to store the ID values, right?
ID.
So yes, now you can see here executing the document property shape. Okay, getting parameter values, getting profile element, employee ID. So now we stored right, we are trying to retrieve the or store the employee IDs, right? Yes or no? Now
Yes.
you can see here getting profile element employee ID. Okay, so now if you see here parameter value is 1001 we stored, perfect. And again the parameter values to this 1002, 1003, yes, 1004 and 1005, 1006. So total we are getting six employee IDs. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we are getting six records from the source. So each and every record ID, I mean each and every record a date, oh no, the employee ID we are able to store, right? So this is how we can store each and every done. So now we stored these values. Now we stored the dynamic document property value. Now it is clear how we can store the dynamic document property values. So so now how we can store? Click on plus button here, select the dynamic document property, click on this. Okay, DDP some. Now I want to store the name value, name. Okay, say okay. Now we already we set the property. Now for this property we need to assign the value. How we can assign? Go to property value, click on plus. Now which property I need to select? Which parameter value I need to select?
Profile.
A
Profile
profile
element.
element.
Profile
Element.
element, XML profile.
XML.
Okay,
Existing.
now Existing already existed. Very good. Now which element I need to consider as a key
Name,
element?
employee name. Sorry, first
Let me
name.
go with the first name.
First name.
First name. Yeah.
Okay. Now say okay. Okay. Now save and test it out. Test. Okay. Okay. So now come here. Click on the set property shape. Check the logs here. You can see here parameter value is 1001 and again parameter value is Prasanna, right? Parameter value is 1002 and Amani, right? So 1003, if I click on next, here you can see the Monica. Likewise, like when we can see, right? Likewise we can see the, we can store, not seeing, we can store each and every record value, each and every record value by using dynamic document property. So now you can ask me, sir, why we are storing these values? So where exactly we can retrieve, or where we can use these stored values? For example, okay, for example, let's say, so okay, like later I will explain you where exactly we can use. Now we store these values, right? Now if I want to retrieve, if I want to retrieve this id values or this dynamic document property values, so for example I want to retrieve here, okay, after the, after the decision shape I want to retrieve. Again, if you want to store set the values, or if you want to retrieve the values, we can use the set properties. Again we can use the set property values, okay, set property shape. So now here we have a dynamic document property. If you want to take, okay, let me take this one, and let's say I want to, okay, so not here, okay, first I will explain you in the map shape, later I will explain you, okay. So now, okay, so now if we store that value, right, we store the value by using set property. So by using set property we stored each and every document value. So one is employee id, another is file this name. So now let me copy this one, okay, this employee id, okay, ddp. Now come here, okay, now come here to the map shape. So now click on open the map shape. Now here you have a functions, click on functions. Do we see here we have a function called properties? We have a function called properties. Do we see here?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, Papa.
let me write a note point. Okay, we can retrieve the property values in set property, set properties comma map comma in some of the connector, okay, in a operation, in a scripting also, groovy script, groovy script, okay, in a groovy script also we can set and we can, okay, we can set and see, we can set and retrieve. Not only retrieving, we can set also, okay, we can set the values also, we can set the values and we can retrieve those values in the map, in the set properties and in the groovy script, okay, in the groovy script also we can retrieve and set the values. So now, okay, by using set properties we set the values. Now come to the functions, click on the property functions. Do you see here? Click on the okay, click on the property functions. Now you can see here get dynamic process property, which means if already set the values, if you already set the values, so we can retrieve those values, which means get. And if you want to set the values here itself, we can set and get document property, set document property, set the trading partner, get a process property, set process property. So now, and focus here, now focus here. Do we see here we have a document property, dynamic process property and a process property. We don't have a dynamic document property. So now you can tell me how we can retrieve or how we can set those dynamic document property values. So now here we have a, see, get document property, or set document property. If you want to get dynamic document property, click on the get document property, say okay, and here you can see choose, click on this choose. Now you can open the document property. Do you see here dynamic document property? Dynamic document property. Now paste it here. The value, the property name which we following in whenever we are setting the value, if you want to retrieve those values, we need to give same name convention. We need to follow the same naming convention. So now we can give the dynamic document property and underscore employee ID. Let's say okay. Say okay. Now you can see here get document property. Get document property. How we get this value? Already we stored that value, right? Now we are getting that value. How? Click on the functions, user defined functions, properties. Here which type of property you want to get or set. Let's say I want to get dynamic document property. Here get document property, say okay, choose, click on the property type, dynamic document property. Now give the ddp underscore name, right? We stored again another name value, right? Now you can store it. Say okay, say okay, right? This is how we can store. Yes or no? We can retrieve those values. Okay, now what I will
Yes.
do, I will remove the property. See, employee ID from the source. Before we mapped like this, right? But I don't want to map like this. I want to map it from here. Okay, I want to map it from here. You can do like this, and let's say name. I don't want to get it from here. Okay, I want to store it from, I want to get it from here. Okay, name. Okay, now save and close. Save. Now test it. Okay, test atom. So we can retrieve those values in a map function also. I mean in the map also. So what are the values we are storing in the set properties? Okay, we can store. So now come here, click on the map shape directly. Click on the map shape. Now you can see here function 4 get document property, get document property output. The output is 1001. And here the function is 5 get document property, the output value is name. Okay, the name is Prasanna, and the function is 4 again document property, output is 1004 here. Likewise we can store. Okay, after the map, if you click on this, so now okay, let me give you this. Okay, what is the input is coming to the map. Now you can see employee ID, location, on all the values are coming, but I'm not mapping it directly. I'm mapping through document property. If you click on the shape source data after the map, now you can see here employee ID and the name. We are mapping it from the property itself. Yes or no? This is how we can use the set properties. This is how you can use the set properties. Okay, clear?
Okay. Clear.
Anyone have any questions or anyone not understood anything?
Now it's clear.
Anyone? Yes? Please raise your hand and ask the questions, guys, if you are not understood. Anyone? About that dynamic document property. I know it is little bit confusion. Okay, try yourself. Okay, try to practice yourself. Then if you are facing any issues, come with questions. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, if you don't have anything, we can wind up the session here and we can continue tomorrow. Okay, now if you want me to repeat again, I will give quickly I will repeat that If you want me to repeat, okay, I will
Oh, it's
repeat.
clear.
Don't worry, I will repeat again. So basically, the set properties which is we are using, we can the dynamic document property values can be stored. And one more important note here, and keep it in mind. Okay, later we will discuss. Okay, later we will discuss this point. Okay, so we can not the dynamic document properties. Okay, the DDP values. Okay, DDP cannot be persist and cannot be extend. Okay, extend. So what does it mean? I will explain you later. Okay, but keep it in mind. Keep it in mind that dynamic document values cannot be persist and dynamic cannot be extended. Okay, cannot be extended. Keep it in mind. This is very very important note point. Okay, later I will explain you. Later stages I will explain you what do you mean by persistence, what do you mean by extended. Okay, I will explain you in later stages, but keep it in mind that dynamic document values cannot be persist and cannot be extended. Okay, yes. Okay then, thank you guys, thanks so much for your time, and tomorrow we will discuss about the dynamic process properties and process properties.
Okay. Tomorrow same time, right?
Yes, same time.
Okay.
Okay then, thank you guys, thanks so much for your time. Have a nice day, bye.